Hello, my friends. Welcome to my new video for the week. Today, I'm showing you a video of the gorgeous Hamilton Garden. Hamilton Gardens, one of the Waikato region's most popular attractions, was not designed in the traditional botanic garden style. Instead, it investigates the relationships between humans and plants, portraying the story of gardens through several civilizations throughout 5 garden collections spanning 58 hectares. Hamilton Gardens is home to Te Parapara, New Zealand's first traditional Maori garden. It showcases traditional practices, materials and ceremonies relating to food production and storage, drawn from the knowledge of local Maori which has been passed down the generations. This is the Paradise Garden collection includes gardens that represent China, England, Japan, America, Italy and India. Each garden is highly individual with a totally different design philosophy. The first one we entered was the Modernist Garden. This is a laid-back garden for outdoor living that originated in California but has thrived in suburban gardens around the world. Relax by the pool in an easy-care garden with a pop art twist. A wide shallow pool invites you to dip a toe or two, as well as contemporary art and sculpture, a basic yet striking backdrop, and deck chairs ideal for sunbathing. So this is the Indian Char Bagh Garden. The Char Bagh Garden is a secret sanctuary from the Mughal Empire era. Char Bagh Gardens were inspired by the 4 gardens of heaven depicted in the Quran, Islam's holy book. These are desert gardens, where precious water creates carpets of blooms and trickles down channels to calm the air. Char Bagh is based on a Mughal-era riverbank park in northern India. This is a garden to linger in, as if you've discovered a haven from the heat and activity of a dusty North Indian metropolis in the 17th century. The ceiling looks great with those beautiful artwork. Water is seen at the bottom, emanating from that finely sculptured object. My youngster is carefully studying how the water comes out of that. These 2 large structures mimic several characters from Egypt's mummy period. Now this is the Italian Renaissance Garden. This garden of princes and poets honors ancient stories and heavenly symmetry through a series of unfolding areas. Repeated motifs and classical sculptures accompany you as if you were wandering through Renaissance Italy, an era of art, literature, and innovation. Imagine a garden infused with ancient mythology, hidden mysteries, and geometric perfection. That's the world of Italian Renaissance gardens, full of fascinating history and ingenious architecture. Another significant influence was the resurgence of ancient Greece and Rome. Renaissance designers attempted to outdo their mythical predecessors, even including statues such as the famed Capitoline wolf and its twin brothers, Romulus and Remus, who were reared by a she-wolf after being thrown adrift in a basket. If you look closely, you can see a large number of coins that visitors have thrown into that pool. Here, you may find romantic statues, classic architectural features, and a small amphitheater, excellent for weddings, geometric gardens, arched trellises, and high terraces with views of the gardens reflect divine and cosmic order. Renaissance gardens were not created overnight. They draw inspiration from a variety of sources, particularly the stunning gardens of the Arab world, which are reimagined with a Christian twist. Think Roman hero sculptures next to vivid flower beds for a one-of-a-kind blend of ancient and new. Geometry was like a code for these designers, representing cosmic order and harmony. They saw geometric designs in nature and replicated them in their gardens, much like architects and artists of the time. Think circles, triangles, and a concealed grid making the ideal foundation, similar to the one seen in the Italian Renaissance garden. So this is the famed Waikato River, which flows behind the Hamilton Garden. These gardens were not merely ornamental, they evolved from medieval gardens, retaining elements like high walls, plant beds, and beautiful meadows. Later Renaissance gardens adopted a magnificent centerline, leading visitors through concealed rooms brimming with surprises, all linked by a single central route. Now we're going inside the Chinese Scholars Garden. You can see my son posing for photographs in various styles for my wife. Inside this garden, you will find a bamboo forest with gentle whispering winds, a calm pond with swimming goldfish, and a beautiful view of the Waikato River from the traditional red ting pavilion. Once you are inside the yard, you will notice a large pond with a lot of goldfish swimming about. I really like goldfish in Blackmore. You can observe that the goldfish swimming here are significantly larger in size. Across the pond, a traditional Chinese bridge joins one side of the pond with the other. So this is the bamboo forest I was talking about. The bamboo trees are so thick and wild that it creates a new atmosphere when I pass through this bamboo forest. This bronze turtle, a gift from Wuxi City in China, protects the gardens from flooding. Now we are entering the Japanese Garden of Contemplation. This is an embrace of calm amid the well-maintained landscape of a traditional Japanese garden. This garden follows old Japanese design standards to encourage introspection and meditation, which is the way to discovering one's real self in Zen Buddhism. The scroll garden's meticulously arranged boulders and sparse foliage suggest a huge world of oceans, mountains, and woods. This garden encourages calm self-reflection and contemplation without disturbance. The Japanese landscape of contemplation is a conventional minimalistic raked gravel landscape with meticulously positioned rocks, a Zen-style garden lake with a bubbling waterfall, the ideal balance of yin and yang, and attractive trees. There is also a large pond here. Around this pond, you can see several types of trees whose leaf colors change depending on the season. Unfortunately, when we arrived, it had regular green leaves. Now we're going to the English Flower Garden. The English Flower Garden has plants and flowers in all their glory. Victorian-influenced extravagant finery contrasted against natural patterns, traditional lines with water elements, and simple pathways. This is a famous English garden of a golden afternoon from the years preceding World War I. Walls and hedges create garden spaces, where seasonal drifts of flowers and roses rise over bowers. It blooms with color over the summer months before going dormant during the winter. Later, we arrived at this location, which is a spherical building with an interior courtyard in the shape of a circle, and in the center is a fountain set in a round pool of water. Now we are passing through a tropical garden. It is totally packed with tropical plants and trees, and it appears to be very dense. This is the Tudor Garden that we will go to explore. At the Tudor Garden, you will walk in the footsteps of the monarchy during England's golden age of increased riches and power. Hamilton Garden's Tudor Garden, inspired by Henry VIII and Elizabeth I, is opulent with sophisticated decorations, secret meanings, and mythical monsters. The legendary monsters standing atop green and white striped poles depict significant people of the time. So, here is the Huddleston airship. It is Hamilton Garden's most inventive piece of gardening equipment. The Huddleston airship, a gigantic steampunk airship packed with industrial gadgets and mechanical steam engines, is designed to float silently through the night, delivering plants and cutting hard-to-reach hedges for the gardening team. We are currently at the Ancient Egyptian Garden. Visit Hamilton Garden's Ancient Egyptian Garden and go back 4,000 years to the period of pyramids and pharaohs. Each piece in the temple court was symbolic. The huge walls on either side of the entrance reflected the two mountains on the horizon between which the sun rose every day, representing rebirth. The garden represented Egypt, enjoying the annual crop and the Nile's flooding. The temple, located at the far end of the garden, had a special inner sanctum that was only accessible to the greatest priests. The pillars of the temple and pergola are stylized versions of the papyrus plant, representing the stems that support the blue sky. The two fake doors on the side of the temple provided an egress for the ghosts. temple compounds all had a similar, highly symbolic design. They were surrounded by lofty walls. The gardens featured a central, rectangular pool, grapevine-covered pergolas, and rows of trees connected by irrigation systems. The portico's ceiling is painted to depict the heavens. Temples and their gardens served as a meeting point between heaven, earth, and the underworld. Priests performed rites here to keep the universe in balance and the forces of chaos at bay. These sacred rites, floral, vegetable, and fruit offerings were grown in temple gardens. They farmed the plants used in perfumes for anointing god sculptures, as well as flower garlands for religious processions. The next stop is the Mansfield Garden. Actually, this is only a portion of Mansfield Garden. Here, a party is set to begin on the grounds of a home surrounded by Wellington wilderness. The food is on the table, musical instruments are on the tennis court, and the guests are about to arrive. I'll come back to this garden from the other side later and explain more. This is the Surrealist Garden. The Surrealist Garden transports you into a dream world where nothing is as it should be. This is one of the most iconic gardens. Enter a dream world filled with unexpected alterations in perspective. As you enter through the entrance tunnel, you'll feel as if you've been shrunk and everything is 5 times its usual size. Inside, unusual things abound, including weird shapes and unexpected artifacts. Even the trees appear to move. This is a garden unlike any other. Feel your perspective shift as you stroll past huge tules, moving trees, weird formations, and a lawn that looks to have fallen from the sky like an abandoned piece of paper. Surrealism in gardens is typically characterized by deformed shapes, sculptures, weird and animalistic components, or exceptionally huge or small scales, with materials employed in unexpected ways. Everything in the garden is 5 times larger than normal. If you look closely, you will notice that those items are moving slowly. The odd moving hedge formations in this Surrealist garden are known as the trons. The trons adopt a simpler form in order to appear slightly sinister. Next, we'll go to Chinoiserie Garden. This is a garden with whimsical appeal and exotic attractiveness. This is an Asian-inspired garden with twisting paths. A pavilion designed to resemble Stowe Garden's Chinese house. Now my son is posing for a photo. If you look closely, you can discover illustrative paintings inspired by 17th and 18th century life on the walls. These flowers are gorgeous. With the Chinoiserie Garden is intended to evoke a bygone era when Westerners were captivated by the beauty and artistry of East Asia. We stopped here for a while because my wife and son were tired of walking. Once again, the Waikato River flows behind the Hamilton Gardens. After that, we visited the Mansfield Garden. It is as if you had arrived in Edwardian Wellington on the morning of Catherine Mansfield's classic short novel The Garden Party. The food is on the table, the band is about to start, and you can practically hear the first guest's footsteps crunching up the gravel path. The tennis court arrangement looks stunning. This is an Edwardian-era Ford Model T. My youngster is eager to sit on it and acts as if he is driving this ancient car. The Mansfield Garden, a literary enthusiast's dream, is one of Hamilton Garden's most popular attractions. Actually, this is reminiscent of Wellington in the 1900s, at the home of a wealthy colonial family. Finally, we are passing through the tropical garden. Here, one may feel the rich and unique atmosphere of a tropical island. This is a garden filled with luxuriant vegetation that will transport you to the heat of the tropical rainforest. So, friends, we've finally reached the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed the magnificent Hamilton Gardens, which are a must-see destination for anybody visiting New Zealand. I know I would have missed some of the other gardens, but I've attempted to include as much information as possible about the gardens we saw here. If you enjoyed this material, please leave a thumbs up and click the subscribe button to help support my channel. I hope everyone has a good remainder of their day, and we'll see you in the next video next week. Thank you for watching.